Welcome to the Literary License Podcast retrospective as we explore anthologies. Anthologies have been around since the 1800s with classics by Poe, Hawthorne, Stevenson, and Lovecraft, to name a few. Motion pictures have been exploring anthologies since the 1930s until today, with even television using the format. Come with us as we celebrate the anthology films through the ages.
Hello, and welcome to the Literary License Podcast. Today we're going to be discussing Trick or Treat from 2007. 2007, and Tales of Halloween from 2015. For the anthology series this season, I will be hosting. This is Joe Randazzo, and joining me today is our fearless leader, Keith Chago.
Hello, folks.
Hello, Vicky Ray.
Hello, Joe.
And hello, Davide.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, David.
I guess why am I hosting? A while back, Keith asked what franchise I would like to cover on an upcoming season of Literary License, and I suggested the Amicus horror anthologies from the 60s and 70s. And in discussing those, it just kind of dawned upon us that maybe we should just do a bunch of anthology movies in general. It's something that's not always covered in depth, and there's a lot, especially in the horror genre. So we came up with a nice batch of them. Not just horror. We're going to be getting away from horror for some of them. It's going to be great bringing these to you, because I feel like some of these movies are really under discussed. Maybe not so much one of the ones we're doing today, but before we get started on all that, though, let's find out what everyone's been doing. How about you, Davide? What have you been up to?
Besides resigning to my old job, which is the greatest thing I've done recently, my God, thanks the Lord.
Besides resigning.
Not real much. I mean, I've been having a little bit of lot of sore throat. Obviously, it's getting to autumn periods, and change of weather. It's getting colder. It's kind of like, and parentheses, I really, 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 really love autumn. It's my favorite season, when everything is getting darker and you see the color of nature, all red, yellow, orange, brown. I just love it. I was walking back from food shopping on last weekend, and it was all dark, and I had this weird feelings on my belly, feeling like all calm and nice and relaxed. And gosh, I love summer. I'm Italian, but at the same time, when it gets to autumn, there's this feeling of calmness and relaxation. Everything is dark. You don't need to be awfully undressed and look at me, I'm sexy or I'm not. I'm just dressed up a little bit this is much nicer, more
Sweater
comfortable.
weather, yes.
Yes, I personally love it much more. So I miss this weather. I know it's getting colder and everything, but I love it. Plus, there is this kind of feeling of at least walking in the park, and there's a massive park next to where I live. And then there's this feeling of the nature getting a little bit more calmer, more silent, and it feels like everything is so holy. It's just beautiful. I wish we were back in the days when paganism was rampant everywhere. It would feel I don't know.
Such a nice thought, Davide, really.
Yeah, just connecting back again to nature. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
I would like to sacrifice babies again. I think that's what.
Well, no. That's not what they used to do.
That is not whose baby it is.
but yeah, I mean,
anyone who has a menopause baby needs to be sacrificed.
For the love of the Almighty. Yeah, I mean, besides this, not much going on. Just having a little bit of a home time, and then spending more time at home and not leaving the house, basically. Reading a bit and relaxing and talking to my cousins, my family, my relatives. But not really much going on. And then watching stuff on Netflix. I'm re-watching Avatar: The Last Airbender series all over again, because that's my yearly tradition. I have to watch it at least once a year. I started rewatching an old anime called Sailor Moon. I'm obsessed with that. I can't.
Sailor Moon. My kids forced me to watch that. That and Dragon Ball Z when they were kids, and every time I hear it, I was like,
I grew I grew up with both of them, Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon. So yeah.
I was running home from work to see what was going to happen with Frieza before the kids were going to find out. That's how bad
you're
it
getting
got,
into competition of who's going to find out first. But yeah, besides this, not really much going on. I'm just being a bit more homey, and that's it. Yeah, that's it for me.
And how about you, Vicky?
Killing crickets. It's Texas. It's cricket time. I've had these little bastards all over my kitchen. I got to suck them up in the fucking vacuum cleaner because I walked to the door this morning. But other than that, I haven't been doing too much. It's been kind of rainy off and on. Texas isn't always hot and dry. Sometimes it gets kind of miserable out. I watched some weird
crickets, though.
Yeah, crickets though. That we have them so bad.
That's going to be the new food source in the next.
I ain't going to be this food source. That's
10 years.
what gun
you might as well start harvesting them.
No, not here. They can eat the crickets. Don't get me going. But no, I watched. Have you guys ever seen Snake People?
The Karloff movie?
Yeah, Karloff.
No.
Where's Karloff? I was watching that. What a weird movie that was. I was watching that the other night ago. I had not seen that one. I didn't even know. There's this channel on that you get on Roku TV called Yesterfear, and they come up with all of these movies I've just never seen. It's a nice little app. It's free. I love watching it, but they have some cool stuff on it. And I remember me and Keith were talking about the new version of The Stand. I rewatched all of that again. I still don't get the last episode, but I kind of appreciated the new version of The Stand again. I didn't go back and reread the book. God, no, that was just a once in a lifetime thing. But I actually enjoyed it the second time around because maybe I was paying more attention to it. It was really kind of done well in retrospect. Although I don't get that last episode for whoever watched it. If y'all explain that to me, that'd be cool.
I didn't mind it. I just didn't. The only thing I didn't like about it, it would have been nicer if they didn't go back and forth. If it was more linear. Because the thing is, what I loved about the first one has
the first one because they didn't do so much of the back and forth with.
Well, the thing is, as you watch the disease grow,
right,
go through. So then, by the time that they all start converging and they start moving towards Boulder, you have this feeling about them. But here, I think they're all in Boulder, so you keep getting like these flashbacks.
You don't really see a lot. You're right about that. You don't see the whole, pandemic, Captain Trick stuff, and I quite like of it. Really,
I like the pandemic side of it. That's what I thought was the strongest about the first of it because you saw it as it grew. I mean, the best part of The Stand, really, for me, when I was reading the book, The Stand, was the disease, and one person coughs and this person gets on a plane and it infects these people, and then these people go off and they're infecting these people, and you see how it spreads. And that's what made The Stand scary for me. Once they get to Boulder and get to Mother Abigail and all that other shit, and evil being in Las Vegas, it's like, well, that's the city of
Sodom and Gomorrah. It's really quite biblical. Let's face it, the whole story is biblical. But I mean, that was a hard book to read. I don't know if you had a hard time reading it, but it was a hard book. There was so much. I mean, I gotta love Stephen King and I don't know if he was drunk back then when he was writing Stand. Sorry, Joe or Stephen, if you're listening. But it was so detailed into everybody. I honestly don't know how he wrote that book. I truly do not understand how he did it.
Well, it does. He does suffer. The Stand does suffer from the Stephen King problematic writing. Yeah. Great story, ending. What the fuck?
I was just about to say the same thing. He's notorious for not knowing how to stick the landing.
Yeah.
And it's fine and dandy and stuff, but at the end of the day, when you're reading a page, 1,000+ page book.
It was fucking
huge. And he's had enough time to work on an ending. You think it just would have been better because it
doesn't come easy for him, does it? When I think about all the endings of his books, now that you guys said that,
I always think that maybe Stephen King should take a leaf out of John Irving, because what John Irving does, he writes the last chapter first, and then writes the first chapter, and he keeps writing back and forth.
I didn't know that. Really,
that's how he writes.
I did not know that. How interesting.
Sometimes you just get yourself stuck. It happens, unfortunately.
Well, when you're into like a 1,500-page book, that you're writing, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's thicker than the friggin' dictionary on my shelf. But I did watch No Country for Old Men. Have you guys ever watched that?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh my God, that movie's intense. What a talk about scary frigging men. That movie is awesome. I can't suggest it enough.
That's the movie that my secretary went to go see, The Bucket List. I love this story. And so she went and got tickets, and for some reason she thought, okay, it's about Bucket List is about these old men, Morgan Freeman and I think Jack
I love that movie.
Jack Nicholson.
And basically it's about these old men making a bucket list before she died. So when she got to the movie theaters, for some reason she forgot the name of the movie and went and got tickets for No Country for Old Men.
Oh, shame.
Oh, she expected that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was a bit shocked, but to be honest, she came back. She did really like the film, though, so that was quite good. She's also she never would have seen before, so
a lot of so weird. The trailers implied, and I didn't even see Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, yeah. And if anybody out there is watching Delicate, the new American Horror Story, if you could please tell me what this is about, I would greatly appreciate it. I've been watching it, and I'm still not getting it 5 episodes later.
I think it's about Kim Kardashian trying to get an acting career. I think that's what it's about.
You know what? She's the only good thing about the whole thing right now. I was already down to bash her, but she's not that bad.
She's okay. I mean, she's playing herself, so
basically.
And she's had plenty of practice playing herself, so she should do a good job.
I mean, I'm not up with the Kardashians, but they're all brilliant business women, so I will give them that. So.
Yeah, and
they know how to market themselves.
Yeah, they do.
They're like succubuses, aren't they? They just ruin every man they come across.
No, that's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Don't even get me going on that either.
If it wasn't for Taylor Swift's failed relationship, she wouldn't have
she wouldn't have any repertoire.
Can I just say one thing? You all should just do some like roasting sessions for like VIP famous people, because you guys seem to know so much about actors and people. You should do like a sort of like
people roast us all the time, so it's fair game the way I look at it. I don't care. I make fun of myself all the time. So.
Because I think it would be fun. I mean, I don't know many famous people. I'm not so much into that business. But if you know so much, it could be fun. You never know.
It's been done.
I don't think anything we're saying is like anything that's like that insider either. Because like if you're, oh my God, especially over here, if you're like, I've been working in a sports bar where we show the NFL games. And if there's a Kansas City Chiefs game on,
yeah,
Taylor Swift is all over it because she's dating
well, I mean, we're turning on. We just want to watch football. We really didn't want to watch Taylor Swift. So, yeah, they can out on that.
To be honest, I'm quite shocked about the whole Taylor Swift craze, because, I mean, that totally bypassed me.
Well, she's 33, 34 now, and she's still kicking it. I'll give her that. But, God.
No, it's not that. It's just about how huge and big she is.
Yeah, she's the biggest thing in the world right now. She's bigger than anything else in the world.
So far.
I mean, I only know
she's
one
bigger
song.
than the NFL.
I only know one song.
Which is why she needs to get off the NFL. We just want to watch football. We don't want to watch.
But you know what? It's not even her. She's dating the quarterback, and she's going to the game, and all the TV cameras are going back on her every couple of minutes, because when the Kansas City Chiefs are getting higher ratings than any other game out there right now, and higher ratings than the NFL's used to.
Can you imagine the song she's going to write about him after she dumps his ass too?
Yeah, but another thing you have to remember is that Taylor Swift's concert movie has broken box office records of all time.
I saw that. I won't pay to see that. I refuse. That's for like 15, 16-year-olds.
I'm just saying that her concert footage,
she got a lot of it. She got a lot
has made more movie than the typical Marvel film has made.
Yeah.
It's made only been out 2 weeks than the last 3 Star Wars movies.
She's totally marketable, there's no doubt.
2 weeks done. So she's huge.
She is huge. She's
bypassed me because the only song I know of hers is Shake It Off. Shake It Off. That's the only song
I know, because they use it in commercials.
Yeah. Well, I know because Hillywood, these YouTubers that I'm friendly with, did a Supernatural piss take of Shake It Off and Supernatural.
Did they?
Yeah, and they got all the actors, Jared and Jensen Ackles and all the actors coming in to do this music video with them. So
Jensen Ackles, I love him. They brought him into. Well, I forgot to say we were watching. Was it Gen V? How many episodes we got left? Is it only going to 8? Please tell me it's going to 10.
10. It's going to 10.
I've got episode 8 today. I cannot stop watching this show. Literally cannot stop watching it. I just love The Boys and Gen V. Huge fan. Fangirl, I'll admit it. Fangirl here. I got to
get caught up with The Boys. I've only seen the first 2 seasons. So
wait. You meant the Boys, the one that's on Amazon.
The Boys, and now they got a spin-off. It's called Gen V. It's about the kids.
Excellent.
That are taking, what's that shit they're taking? The whatever, that V stuff. Yeah.
So you're literally obsessed with it. So you really like it.
Oh, I love it.
Specifically The Boys.
The best part about it, it's so brilliant. Who's ever writing this, it's not going to piss off anybody politically on the left or the right, because it takes the piss out of just about everything, which is why I love it. It is so fuck all of you.
Which is what it's supposed to be like.
It. It's great. There's just no opinion. It's just full straight fuck all.
So I do think they're taking the piss out of Ellen Page.
I keep wondering about that. I don't think so. Really, they wouldn't do that, would they?
It looks like
it does look like her
female, and it looks like her male.
Yeah, it does. That's weird.
And the character keeps changing between male and female back and forth.
I think that's so funny. That girl, one of the characters is sleeping with the character, and she goes to bed, but he's a male, and she wakes up and it's a girl. It's just funny as fuck, man. I love it. It's just great.
If you think it's so good if you think it's really good, then maybe I should give it a try, because at some point I stopped watching because I wasn't getting into it. Maybe I should try it again.
I would watch Gen V. I would watch The Boys and then watch Gen V, because I think
you'll get it better.
Yeah, I think
because all the big superheroes and stuff are super villains.
Yeah,
you'll figure out who everybody is, like Homelander and Dave.
It's just that I've had a phase of superheroes when I was obsessed with superheroes. Then I kind of grew out of it, not because I don't like them anymore.
These aren't really superheroes. These are villainous superheroes.
No, but it's still obviously similar concept of people with superpowers and all the stories, etc.
It's kind of deconstructing the genre, though, so maybe you'll like it because of that.
No, but I did watch a couple of episodes and was getting into it. Then I was like, okay, and then
you gotta get out of the first season.
Maybe it's always the same story. It's always the first season that's the most difficult one. So maybe I should. It's like when you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's sort of like Game of Thrones. The first season, I thought I was going to die through the first season of Game of Thrones, but by the second, third season,
you gotta set up the characters. That's the main focus.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What have you been up to, Joe? Real quick, before we forget to ask.
We should do Keith first, and then we'll start.
Fuck Keith. Keith's just been fucking being mean to me. That's all.
I'm just watching regular television. I did watch Pearl. Finally came on TV here last night.
Oh, what'd you think?
Oh, did you see it?
Loved it. Yeah.
Did you? Wasn't it awesome? I love both.
But the thing is, it's like everyone's calling it a horror film. I don't think of it as a horror film.
A thriller.
Not even a thriller. For me, it seemed like more of a dark character study.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
And I kind of looked at that, and I think if they marketed it that way, I think it probably would have gone up for Oscars and stuff.
Well, there's a third one, right? They're making
that's Maxine. That's going to be her after X, so that's going to be that character after X.
Okay, so you had Pearl, we had X, and they are going to make a third installment, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if you're going to put the films together and you're going to watch them in chronological order, it'll be Pearl, X, and then Maxine. That'll be the chronological order of them.
It's disturbing though. It kind of goes to your comfort zone. It did for me, so that's how I gauge some things.
Yeah, I didn't find it disturbing. I found it. I mean, the acting's fantastic. Mia Goth to me looks like Haley Mills with dark hair. I don't know.
She does.
And so I'm kind of watching her, and the thing is, they're both from England. Mia Goth is English.
She's just fun to watch. I totally enjoy all of her performances.
And the guy in it, the one, who runs the motion picture house. I mean, we're going to see a lot of him in the forthcoming because he's the new Superman, isn't he?
Yeah, I was just going to say he was just cast as Superman. So yeah.
Oh, so they really did replace him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's not coming back to The Witcher either.
No, he's going into his own production company.
Is he really? I was wondering what was going on. Okay.
So, but saying that, I mean, I just found Pearl. I mean, Pearl reminded me of like Pleasantville. It had that
Hometown kind of thing going on.
The look of it. And the thing is, it's funny, but I didn't see this horror film. Okay, I mean, she's unhappy, and I understood her. To be honest, I understood her.
It's a slasher flick.
Not really, because
she kills people though.
It's only at the very end.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but I see it because
I think it's a mental thriller.
But the thing is, I think it's because you have this character study about this girl, and she wants more out of life, and then everything around her is keeping her down. Her mother's keeping her down. Her father's situation is.
Oh God, what a shit show!
And then she finds this glitter of hopefulness to be able to get off this.
I'm a star.
Yeah, well, and then that, that's, unfortunately, he gets with her when her psyche begins to crack a little bit, and of course, when she's not successful, then it cracks even more. And so I looked at it more like that. So and to be honest, I could kind of I understood her. I had empathy for her. I don't agree with what she's doing, but
she was kind of crazy, though. She wasn't right.
I don't think she started off as crazy. I think she just basically,
parents made her nuts, probably.
Well,
that was a fucked up family situation in that movie.
Well, you also have to remember that she's a daughter of immigrants trying to make it. The parent, right. You got the mother trying to make it, and then you got, the stroke of the father, and then you got her trapped.
Well, at least that we explained
her way to get out of it, and her way to get out of it was to get married, and of course, then he ran off the war, leaving her there. So, yeah, I mean that's so. I think because Ty West directed it, I have to sit there and say, I mean, Ty West to me is one of the best modern movie makers of all time. Anyway, I mean, House of the Devil and X and The Innkeeper. I love The Innkeepers, and just and Pearl.
That was a fucked up movie, The Innkeeper. That was good. There's a Kelly McGillis in that one, correct?
Yeah.
So.
That it's one of the creepier ghost stories I've ever seen.
I thought it was creepy.
So when I look at, and I know after the Pearl, I went and rewatched House of the Devil again. And,
House of the Devil.
No, X over here is really expensive now to stream, so I'm gonna probably because it used to be free on Prime.
Really?
But now it's gotten really expensive, so I'm probably just gonna have to buy. I'm gonna have to buy a copy. I'm gonna buy. I think you can get Pearl and X on Blu-ray together as a.
I think you can now.
Yeah, so I probably just do that because I think both of them are worth owning. So.
Did you watch Infinity Pool? She was great in that too. Anybody watch Infinity Pool?
I've seen it. It's very good, and I love it as a kind of a takedown on the 1% and never wanting to take accountability for your actions.
Right. I got that. I kind of got that too. I thought it was well done, but what a fucked up friggin' island and show. It's just crazy. And it was just insane. I loved it.
Brandon Cronenberg. That's David Cronenberg's kid making that. So that's.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
That's his third feature, I want to say.
No kidding.
There's Antiviral, Possessor, then Infinity.
I saw Cronenberg, so I just assumed. I didn't know he had a child that was directing and doing stuff now. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, his stuff is very, very good. Possessor is excellent.
I haven't seen that.
You gotta check.
After Pearl, I watched the film that kind of was disturbing and dark and new called Swallowed.
I think I watched that.
I don't think I know that.
It's directed by Carter Smith, and it has Jenna Malone in it and newcomer Cooper Koch and Jose Collin. But it also has a very old Mark Patton in it.
Oh.
But the subject matter basically is about this gay boy. He's best friends with his straight friend. He's going to go to LA to make porn films. So his straight friend goes, I'll tell you what, I want to give you something to help you get started. And so they go and they're going to run drugs into Canada, but they have to swallow the drugs to get them.
Oh, I didn't see this. Ooh, this sounds good. Is that on Hulu or something?
It's on here. Here it's on regular. It was on regular Sky over here. So I'm probably sure you can follow it, find it somewhere. And basically it's like, the drugs that they're swallowing, this isn't saying they're not drugs. This is to say that it's one of the bags breaks, and basically they get to the drug guy, who's Mark Patton, and they need to get the drugs out of their system.
Oh my god! All right,
a lot of fisting going on.
No shit.
No,
I'm definitely watching it now.
No,
But
absolutely.
saying that,
and Vicky's in.
I'm totally down.
Oh
you get a
my
lot of penis. You
Christ,
get a lot of penis action in it as well. But saying that,
Okay.
it's really well done, though. I mean, the thing is like, you know, there's a lot of it's suggestion and stuff like that, of course, but very well done. I was,
Oh.
you know, and Carter Smith directed it, and I mean, he did The Ruins.
Oh, I saw that. That was a weird movie.
And Jimmy Marks Is Dead. He did that as well. So.
Oh, I did watch Never Hike Alone, the other one, finally.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Just putting a shameless plug out there for our buddy.
Mm-hmm. But he's also got a film coming out that should be out now called The Passenger from 2023. So Swallow came out in 2022. The Passenger's coming out, so I'm going to give that a try. But
I'm going to have to find that. I just love macabre movies.
Now that he's talking, I think it might be on Shudder. I think it was a Shudder original.
Maybe. I've seen it. That's why I thought I saw it. I've heard of it. I know I've heard of it.
I would highly recommend it. Actually, it's got great reviews. I looked up the reviews afterwards, and I said before I watched Pearl, and then I watched House of the Devil, and I was like, Ferris is out, so I thought, okay, and then this popped up. I go, oh, you know, films you might like after you've seen these two, and I was like, Swallowed. Okay, I'll give that a try. It's 90 minutes long. Fantastic. I had to sit there and say it was up there with the films I watched on that night, so highly recommend it. Uncomfortable. Sat with my legs crossed a couple times.
I bet. Well, if it disturbed you, then I definitely have to watch it now.
Yeah. But outside of that, basically bought some pumpkins, could do some jack-o'-lanterns, and then I joined up with this thing called Gusto. Basically, they send you your meals. So you have to cook your meals, but they send you the meal boxes. So we're gonna start next week because it come find out it ends up being cheaper than buying groceries.
Well, we do that every so often here. It's called Fresh here, though. It comes in a little cardboard box, and all your stuff's in a bag. It's actually quite good. It's quite good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give a shot for a try. I mean, the thing is, if anyone wants to use it, they can use my code if they want to, and I get money off, and they get 60% off on the first one. So, so I'm gonna give that. We're gonna give that a try this week, and then of course Halloween's coming, so we got all the candy in for the trick or treaters and stuff. So
I do that this weekend.
I gotta go get some candy too.
I haven't had a trick or treater at this place in the 5 years I've lived here, but I know that if I don't buy any Halloween
candy, you're gonna get one.
That's the moment when you get
one. And you're gonna be like that guy in one of our movies handing out fucking cat food. Oh my God. And you know what happens to people that do that?
You end up having to clean up a lot more of the front than you thought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
What about yourself, Joe? What are you up to?
Well, got another job, and that's going to be a huge weight off my shoulders. But unfortunately, I put myself in a position where starting November 1st, I won't have another day off until November 18th.
Of next week, 3-4 weeks straight?
Yeah, because I'm going to be still at the other job for a little while and training at the new one. So I'm going to keep making money.
Joe. Dang.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
As far as on Tuesday, I saw Killers of the Flower Moon.
Was that any good?
It is
different.
It's excellent movie. It's one of the darker Scorsese movies in a while because, like, I don't think I've seen a movie of his this overtly dark probably since. God, we got to go way back to maybe like Cape Fear or something.
Really?
This is one. I mean, just there's themes in it of loyalty and loyalty and honesty, and the story is, if you know the stories of the murders in Osage County, then you have an idea what it's about. But basically, these women from the Osage tribe come. They inherit all this oil money in this small little town, and part of the backdrop they said as part of the backdrop everything that happened to that black community in Tulsa. So that's kind of in the characters' minds, because right. A couple like, oh my God, it's just like what happened in Tulsa. And yeah, these members of this tribe, some of them start dropping dead, and then some of them are straight up murdered. And wicked. It seems that the local authorities don't care enough to do anything. So they're trying to get the FBI to come in. The early days of the FBI, they go to see the president and have somebody come and investigate it, and they're trying to figure out who's killing off all these women, as all the inheritance keeps moving from one woman to the next. It's very, very good. It's 3 hours and 26 minutes.
Holy shit.
So go pee right before you go in the theater. And stock up on your snacks for this one, because it's a long ride. But it's a very, very good movie.
I didn't know it was that long. I knew it was like long, but I didn't know it was 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Lily Gladstone, who plays Molly, the woman who Leonardo DiCaprio starts out courting at the beginning of the film. There's going to be Oscar talk about her next year. She's just that phenomenal. She must, when you're acting alongside DiCaprio and De Niro, for you to be the one that everybody's talking about coming out of the movie means you are doing something amazing. So she's fantastic in this. There are, 3.5 hours. There's a couple parts in there where it does drag, but it's never anything. It's never like unbearable. It's just a long, winding mystery. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for the length. Be prepared, hit the bathroom right before you walk in the theater, because this is going to be a long one.
Awesome.
The other thing, just last night, I went to see American Psycho the musical.
Oh, really?
There's that musical?
Yeah, it started out in London, that musical.
Oh, I didn't know it was a musical.
Oh, Keith, you said you saw it?
I haven't seen it. I've seen clips and stuff, because it started off in England here. It started off the first place they did it. So I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen
the I've seen the trailer. Is this new or something? Because I've been seeing a trailer
around a couple
of quite a bit.
It's been about 6-7 years, the original musical. But it played over here 6-7 years ago. But I knew they were taking it to America at some point. What was it like?
It is absolutely fantastic. I heard Matt Smith originated the role. He wasn't who I saw last night. Last night, the guy playing Patrick Bateman was a guy named Kyle Patrick. And he's amazing in it. I never read the novel. I've seen the movie a couple of times. There's a lot of differences between the movie and the musical. From what I understand, the musical is taken more from the novel than from the movie. So there's scenes and characters that you're going to see in the musical that aren't in the movie. So it's not completely the same. Performance-wise, it is fantastic. If you have a chance to see it, it's at the Chopin Theater in Chicago. It's been playing about a month. I know it's sold out this whole weekend, so we were lucky to get seats at all this weekend. I don't know how long it's going to run. It's probably going to run a little longer. The songs are amazing. Performance-wise, it's just absolutely fantastic. It's a small ensemble cast of about 9 or 10 people. Each one playing like one character role, and then they're mostly in the background for everything else, except for the leads of Patrick Bateman, Paul Owen, and Evelyn. Everyone else, at least, is playing other ensemble roles. Absolutely fantastic performance, fantastic blocking. They were playing the whole thing like basically on like this one strip, which is just like a plank in front of us, and that's where the majority of the action was taking place. And I was surprised at the blocking of this thing because with such a limited space, they managed to put together something that is absolutely amazing. Also, what is his name? Let me look up the actor who played Paul Owen, and I do not have it. All right. Well, I don't have it in front of me. I thought I had the program that I could scan in front of me, and I don't. The actor playing Paul Owen is fantastic. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name at the moment. And from the if you've seen the story, if you've seen the movie, you know the story. From the moment he actually does murder Paul Owen, the second act just becomes completely unhinged and brilliant. And it's absolutely just amazing. So yeah, if you get a chance to see it, if it comes anywhere near you, go see it. I am now curious to see how Matt Smith did Patrick Bateman. So I don't know if there's a filmed version of it that I'd love to see.
I think there's stuff on YouTube that you can find of it.
There's quite a bit on YouTube actually about it.
Oh, there is.
See where
we did American Psycho. We did that from Book to Screen as part of our Book to Screen episode. So, and I think I used a couple of songs for our closing credits from the musical itself. That's when I actually saw some clips from it, and I was like, okay, this looks actually quite interesting because all done in a box situation. The version that they had on there.
Oh, all right. So I am going to be okay. Yeah, this was just like, it wasn't even like a box. It was like literally just a plank across the floor, which is where most of the action took place. So, yeah, I'll have to take a look at some of the stuff. I don't if it was professionally filmed, maybe I could actually buy or rent the whole thing at some point and watch that version.
Yeah. I mean, whoever filmed it for whatever thing is. I mean, I think at one point they came over, and I think they're on Conan O'Brien or one of those talk shows late at night. The cast and crew of that production showed up at one point. So I don't know if they flew over there or I don't know, but I know that you can see. So they got clips of that somewhere on YouTube, but they had a lot of clips from the movie, like a lot of songs, and it was. It was very professionally filmed, so it wasn't like someone's iPhone in the back and you see someone's head bopping up in between the lines of dialogue.
Yeah, they're usually very strict about that anyway. Like if somebody had their phone out, they are right on you in like a second, so you wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, there's been plenty of good adaptions of movies that you don't think would make great musicals. Carrie the musical is brilliant.
I've never seen Carrie the musical. I might have to check that out.
Fantastic. And I saw that on Evil Dead the musical. Loved it. Heather the musical. Now they're making a movie of it. So
even The Toxic Avenger, we covered that for literary license in the past, and that
was really good though. I enjoyed that though. I thought that they did a really good job with that.
One of my favorites is Eating Raoul the musical.
Loved I didn't know there was Eating Raoul.
I just love Eating Raoul. I didn't know they made a musical of it though. I could see where it could get.
Paul is one of the last things Paul Barton worked on before he died.
Oh shit.
I mean, one of the best songs is when Mary Bland is deciding whether to kill her husband or kill Raoul, and she's singing a song with a frying pan called "One Bop, One Last Bop."
Oh, that's right, the frying pan. Yeah.
So, but brilliant, excellent.
How did I forget? Last weekend I was at the Twisted Dreams Film Festival with Lynn Lowry. Did the Q&A with her. Unfortunately, nobody recorded it, which I'm really disappointed about.
Are you serious?
I didn't find out until a few minutes before that no one was recording it. And I'm like, oh, well, damn, there's a missed opportunity.
I was kind of hoping that we could hear it. Oh, well.
I mean, we also didn't have a lot of time. We had less time than I thought we would. I thought we'd have like an hour or 45 minutes. We had like 20. So I felt like I couldn't get everything off that I wanted to. I tried to ask her a little bit about some of the movies that people don't ask as much about, like Radley Metzger's score, which she talked about a little bit, and I didn't know, but she apparently she said during the Q&A that she had an affair with Radley Metzger in the 70s. I learned that she is not a big fan of Paul Schrader, because apparently her scene in The Cat People was very painful. She's a prostitute who gets thrown on the ground and killed by the leopard under the bed, and she said she got scratched up really badly.
Were they aware of her being injured?
It sounds typical Paul Schrader from what I've heard.
That's kind of what I commented. I was like, well, he's not exactly well known for being the nicest guy. He's kind of a dick from everything that I've heard. And what actually jogged my memory, we talked a little bit about Sugar Cookies, which is the film she made for Troma with Mary Warrenoff, who played Mary Bland in Eating Raoul, and she talked about how absolutely sexy Mary Warrenoff was at the time, and she said that I'm not gay, but if I was, Mary Warrenoff would be.
She did have an air about her. I mean, she wasn't overly drop dead gorgeous, but she just had something about her. I guess you would call it sex appeal.
Even House of the Devil, there's something about her in that.
Which one?
House of the Devil. I mean, she's in it very briefly.
Yeah.
She kind of steals it from everyone. I mean, steals it from Paul. What's his name? Noonan.
She's just a high charisma kind of person.
Yeah, and I mean, and then we talked a little bit about her, playing Lloyd Kaufman's Dream Girl in Battle of Love's Return. And of course, we talked about George Romero. We talked about David Cronenberg.
Wonderful.
So yeah, and seeing the movies of her in her youth, she's still a very beautiful woman now at 76 years old. But man, when she was in these movies 50 years ago, when you see her on screen in The Crazies or Shivers or any of these movies, I mean, she was her first role was the Dream Girl in the Battle of Love's Return. So we talked a little bit about how a lot of the movies she made during this time dealt with disease of some kind. Because The Crazies, Shivers, and I Drink Your Blood all had that element of some kind of disease. So yeah, I really wish somebody would have recorded it, because it's not that long. We could have put it on the podcast as a little extra, like a little 20-minute extra somewhere.
That would have been great.
Had I known that they weren't recording it, I would have brought some stuff up to Wisconsin with me and just recorded it for myself. Which maybe I just need to do in the future when I do these kinds of things.
I would.
But otherwise, I had a great time at the Milwaukee Twisted Dreams Film Festival. I know that they're going to be running again next year. Filmmakers came in.
Looked like you were having fun.
Yeah, filmmakers came in from all over the place. One filmmaker had a film from Portugal. He came out. So yeah, if you have a horror film that you want to show in the United States, Twisted Dreams Film Festival is a good one for it, and look out for when they open up their submissions for next year. So yeah, I've had a very eventful week, not even realizing it.
You have.
So I guess this will bring us to the first film this week, which will be Trick or Treat. All right. Trick or Treat is a 2007 American anthology horror comedy film written and directed by Michael Dougherty and produced by Bryan Singer. The film stars Dylan Baker, Rochelle Aytes, Anna Paquin and Brian Cox. It relates 4 Halloween horror stories with a common element in them. Sam, a trick-or-treating demon wearing orange footie pajamas with a burlap sack over his head. That's a strange way to form the sentence, but whatever. The character makes an appearance in each of the stories whenever one of the characters breaks a Halloween tradition. Despite being delayed for over 2 years and having only a limited number of screenings at film festivals, the film received much critical acclaim and has since garnered a strong cult following. And I can speak for myself because I saw that trailer in the early days of YouTube in 2007, and I could not wait to see this movie. The trailer really sets it up, really sets up the whole rules of Halloween thing. We're going to go into that trailer right now.
During the spookiest time of the year, there are a few guidelines all ghosts and goblins should follow. Always stay on sidewalks. Never go to a stranger's house. And never go out alone.
This is the one night that all sorts of things roam free. Sorry. All these traditions.
Wait.
What?
You're supposed to keep it lit.
Why?
Ain't you tradition?
Putting on costumes,
I look like I'm 5. You look great. What did we do now? We meet our dates.
jack-o'-lanterns.
Why are we here? To pay our respects to the dead?
The Halloween school bus massacre.
They started to protect us, but
What in God's name are you doing down there? Hiding buddies?
nowadays, no one really cares.
This one's still lit.
What is that?
It's them.
Oh my God. Look at me. It's not a trick. It's real.
Tonight is about respecting the customs, not breaking them.
All right, so welcome back to the Literary License Podcast. We're discussing the 2007 anthology film Trick or Treat, and starting with let's go with Davide. What did you think of Trick or Treat?
Well, okay, so I was never really into Halloween movies, except obviously Nightmare Before Christmas and the Hocus Pocus are my top, at least for me. But I was never really into like those horror Halloween movies. I always thought, they're boring. I'm not into them, etc., etc. However, this movie was the cherry on top of the cake I've been missing my whole life. I'm gonna say I loved it. It was a pleasure. It was refreshing. So I feel ashamed that I've never watched it before, and at my age. So that top of the top concept is kind of reinventing Halloween as a way of like, this is a holy sacred holiday that has to be respected and cared for. I've always been the sort of guy like, Halloween, it's so commercial. It's all about money. It's all about candies. And, it's not really like the real original shaman from paganism. Fair enough. But then this kind of like puts it into like a whole different level. It's kind of like, okay, this is like a proper tradition of doing certain things the proper way and respecting certain traditions, certain rules, certain way of doing things, and otherwise you get punished and you die, basically. I love the idea. And then on top of that, there is a sort of supernatural spirit, this kind of protectors. I mean, you said it's a demon. I thought it was a sort of like a spirit or like a protector or something, a guardian that punishes people who don't really follow the rules.
It's seen that way.
It's at least that's the way I felt. I mean, spirits in general in mythology and traditions, they are born from important events that are relevant into a culture, and then they become like a symbol of something. So this could have been simply like a kid who, I don't know, didn't get to experience Halloween or whatever, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's that role that it's been taken for the movie, for the story, for Halloween itself, and it's amazing, to be honest. It's an amazing concept. It makes you kind of appreciate Halloween. In fact, this year I feel like, oh my gosh, I want to celebrate it. Otherwise, Sam's going to come visit me. I love it. I really love it. Then,
did you have a favorite story out of all of it?
Absolutely. Out of all of them, I would say the Mr. Wilkins with the kids and then carving the real head. So I know that it's obviously, I know that's kind of like, he feels like he's not really following the real tradition. It's kind of like being a killer just for the sake of killing. But at the same time, it made me feel like, oh, look, like a tradition being like passed from generation to generation. It's kind of like the importance of like passing the tradition and the lessons or something like that. And I just loved it. Even
he does get his comeuppance. He does get his comeuppance later on in the film. But you know that just exemplified what I was going to say about the film, which is that there is a way to do like this kind of world building without having to, spend a lot of time on it. This film does that. It does it with a little, 50s style Halloween safety video right before the opening credits, or that goes into the opening credits. And that just sets everything up for you perfectly, doesn't it?
They interwove all the stories quite well.
Yeah, it's very, very much like Pulp Fiction, because like you see characters die, but then you see them pop up. You're like, oh, wait a second. Okay, this is earlier in the night. I love the way it does that.
The connection that they did in the story is amazing. It kind of like we take one piece of a story and another one, and like, oh, now makes sense. Now this is why they did. Oh, look at this. It's all like fully connected. It keeps you like awake and interested into the story. The way it's written, I mean, I loved it.
And it cycles back around because the story just begins again. It ends where the story starts.
Yeah,
which I really love about it, because it helps with the rewatchability of it. The whole thing kind of exists in a loop, and his work is never done. It just the whole night there's people disrespecting Halloween.
But that's like his role.
I love the bus one the best, though. I like the kids on the bus. That was by far my favorite story on this whole thing.
Same here, because it's both. I like when the kid is under the mask and you see him go, "Hey, wrong way, wrong way, wrong way," and you understand that these are kids that are, special needs, and understand just the greed and just the horrible shallowness of the parents.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't want to deal with this anymore. You really feel for those kids, and then it becomes the eeriest story when you see them go after the other kids who are pranking another girl who's autistic,
right,
or somewhere on the spectrum, and then you see them get back at that horrible bus driver that took the money and killed them. But I would have liked to see them go back after the parents who paid the bus driver.
Yeah, the parents were the ones supposed to be punished more. Yeah, I agree. The parents were the more responsible, the responsible one.
Well, nobody was trying to find the bus.
Well, we know though they might have already killed the parents, so we don't.
They might have.
Well, the bus they never. Well, they left that bus down there. Like, did anybody even fucking look for that bus? I mean,
there's a line in there where they say that it's said that the bus sank so deep that no one could ever find it.
But you saw the bus stick out, though, didn't you?
What's that, Keith?
Wasn't the bus nose in?
Quarry, wasn't it? Was it quarry?
Yeah, it was like a quarry. So it couldn't have been that deep.
But they obviously didn't care to go find it. But there was an elevator, which was confusing.
Yeah, that I didn't understand. Why was the elevator there? Why was there such an elevator?
Was that just mystically put there?
Because
the thing is you would. It's not
a rock quarry. Never mind.
Yeah, but it's a rock quarry. But at the same time, it's not a permanent elevator. It's not one that's built in there. It's one that construction people use, and when you're querying something,
right.
you do have the ones that they put in the temporary ones, so you can get down from the top to the bottom. So it's one of those. So it's not like a it's not like a permanent fixture that they built there and then left it there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So obviously, so for me, I think the quarry for me basically means it's still a working quarry. It's still operational. That's what situation. And you got what I also like, because you have the truth of the situation, but of course you also have the folklore of the situation and what the kids are telling you. That story that they're telling you is not 100% correct, because you got to remember what happens in a small town is whether you have like the weird ass neighbor that no one speaks to, or whether they have this weird house in a small town. There's a folklore built up about it, and like the true story behind it. For instance, we have this guy named, I don't know what his real name is, but he was called Chicky. Back in Sackets. He used to ride a bike everywhere. And there was talk about that maybe it's a child pedophile or whatever like that. So, I mean, he did work as a custodian in my school where I grew up in. But there's this huge thing that grew up around him situation. And then he lived next to my grandmother, and he heard these stories and and everything. And then you find out the real story. After he died, the real story came out. And this fallen down house that he lived in, what happened is that his mom died and he was upset. So he was with this guy he was dating, and they got in a car accident. And so basically what happened was the guy died. So he put the car into the car stereo. He never drove this car again. And because the stuff out of the house just decaying around him. And because he was gay in the 60s, he was a pedophile. People turned that into he was a pedophile or all this other stuff. But that, the same thing like we had the Witch of Watertown.
Yeah, I felt bad for her when I got older and realized, God,
Yeah. I mean, she got that way because she was a nun during World War II, and the Nazis tortured her to death, so it basically deformed her. But she used to walk the streets of Watertown, and the thing is these things build up their own kind of fantasy world and
an urban legend kind of
urban
thing.
legends and stuff like this. And it's only when you get older and you look back on it, it's like, well, nah, that's not exactly what happened here, and what so on and so forth. So when you see the kid's story of the bus driver, and then when you get Brian Cox, and he is the bus driver, his character, and I thought, okay, well, it kind of brings things up a little bit better. And you can see that he was disturbed by it. I mean, he did not, live grand off that memory. I mean, you could see that it ruined him.
Yeah.
Which added this other dimension to everything. And then,
also, sorry, go ahead, Keith.
And that's what I quite liked about everything as well, because everything keeps turning on in itself in these stories, and everything's not what you're watching it and you think it's going to go one way and it takes a sharp turn another way. And
and just the casting of Brian Cox as an old curmudgeon is just
what was his name? Krieg? Is that was his name?
I think
Krieg or something. I
think it was something like
he was
Krieg,
the next door neighbor. He was a little guy playing the next door neighbor, and he was getting attacked by the pumpkin kid before the next door neighbor got it eventually. Right? Is the old man?
Yeah, it is Krieg. I just looked on my laptop.
Okay, because he was funny though, because I mean, he just, at the end it was I thought it was funny. She's like, well, you better get these little fuckers something for trick or treat, or they're gonna come back to your house. I don't know what he gave them. I forgot what he gave them, but he wised up. He was probably the only one that wised up. I don't think he died. I think they wanted us to believe that. I don't know. All the jack-o'-lanterns were in his yard, but.
Well, no. Well, after that though, there's the knocking at the door again, and now it's the kids from the bus. So right. I think they probably kill him at the very end.
Yeah, they get their comments. Because the pumpkins and stuff like this, you don't know. The whole thing is I don't know if they're from Sam Hain or are they from the witch girl.
I think it's from the little witch girl.
Because you see her going past his house when he opens the door, and
the kid with the pumpkin burlap sack and the ugly face, is that who the pumpkins
No, that's Sam.
That's Sam. I love Sam. I mean, that's one thing I think we should put. I mean, this is the second time we've seen this actor.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
In 2 weeks. But I mean, Sam Hain to me in this, he is a film icon.
Just the pumpkin thing alone, but yeah.
Instantly. The year this came out, it went straight to DVD in the US after playing at film festivals. And I remember when my girlfriend at the time, when she and I saw that trailer in 2007, we couldn't wait to see this movie. So when we saw it was announced for like the last Tuesday in September of 2009 for DVD, we went immediately and got it. And we were working that year on a Halloween attraction, a free Halloween attraction for the kids in the neighborhood at one of the parks. And they let me do a couple of things. One of them was one of the things I did was I did something based on the Wolfman. But one of the other things, it didn't do anything. We just took a kid's pumpkin trick-or-treat bucket. We got a convict costume and stuffed it with old newspapers. And we took a burlap sack and my girlfriend sewed the buttons on it to give it Sam's face. We built it. We put it in the Halloween one. Nobody knew what it was yet because this is 2009. The movie just came out like the prior week. And now Sam is everywhere. Sam is ubiquitous with Halloween. You go to Spirit Halloween, there's Sam plush dolls. There's Sam T-shirts. Yeah. He's everything you can think of. There's a mug with Sam on it. Everything you can think of. It's now been marketed to death, and I love it because it is such a great character, and it's about the spirit of Halloween. So it's.
I mean, if I had a child, I would basically take them trick or treating from their toddler up until the age of 8 in a onesie with a burlap bag, and there'll be Sam every single year.
Yes. Yes.
And the thing is, there's something, and this is what I think this is quite bizarre about Sam and Trick or Treat. There's something really sinister about him.
Right.
But you love and like him so much at the same time.
Does he have an origin story at all?
Well, he's Sam Hain. He's the spirit of Halloween. Right. I mean, he's got to go ahead, doesn't he? And when he does get blown up in the head, it's full of pumpkin.
Couple times.
Yeah, it's all pumpkin stuff. It's probably on YouTube. There's a 5-minute animated short that this director made before this, just called Season's Greetings. It's probably on YouTube. So by now, I know it's on the DVD. I know it's an extra on the DVD. I saw the same DVD from 2009.
I've got a question.
Showing our age here.
I've got a question. If we're saying that we all agree, and I actually like the idea of like Sam being sort of the spirit of Halloween, what happens to Jack Skellington? Because I generally thought that was the spirit of like Halloween, at least back in the days.
It could be both. Why can't it be both?
Yeah, of course it can be both, but like, I don't know. I'm just thinking,
who doesn't
what's
love
the original,
Jack
traditional?
I mean,
aside from Oogie Boogie.
Yeah. I mean, Jack Skellington appears in Frankenweenie.
Yep.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, the original black and white short film. He's a little thing in there situation because it's Tim Burton. Tim Burton's characters all look alike, but that's what makes them good, sort of thing. So it's the same kind of same kind of feeling about them. I like the werewolf story as well. I mean, I do not like the actress in this.
You don't like Anna Paquin?
She bothered. Ever since I saw her in the piano, I have a hatred for piano, so therefore a hatred for her. But
you mean the one
like Anna Paquin?
Wait, do you mean the one dressed up in the Red Riding Hood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is she the one from True Blood, or
that's her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I thought so. Okay. That's good.
And to be honest, this is just personal with me. There's nothing. I mean, I guess she gets. I just there's something. She,
rubs you the wrong way, like Taylor Swift rubs me the wrong way. Okay.
Yeah, there's no reason. I mean, she's the reason why I can't watch True Blood. That's the reason why I can't.
Oh no, True Blood is amazing. I never finished it, but it's amazing.
Not just her. I mean, it's not just about
there's her. I mean, there's another one. Who else? She also reminds me of Claire Danes as well, and I don't like her either. I think they're the same person, actually. But anyway, but in this film, I loved her in this film. I thought she was excellent. I can't take that away from her.
If you had watched this before, you really didn't expect that. What I didn't really expect. The first time I saw this, I really didn't gather that they were werewolves. I thought they were just busting her balls because she was a virgin. But she technically was a virgin. It just wasn't the kind of virginity that I was thinking of.
But can I say the werewolves? They look like puppets, not really CGI.
No, they're not CGI. They're practical. They're
so
practical.
That's a great choice, I think. Like I think you probably mentioned it.
Less CGI sometimes.
Less CGI. So I agree. Puppets much better than CGI. So well, great choice.
I like the transformation. Was great. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Keith.
Dylan Baker. When I saw Trick or Treat the first time, I saw Dylan Baker do a movie called Happiness.
I don't think I've seen that.
He invites, basically, it's his art film where he invites his son's friends who are about 10, 11 years old to come and stay with his son, and he would sexually molest them, and they wake up with their bloody bottoms because he would and Happiness is kind of a weird film because it's like,
why the hell would they name it Happiness for one?
Well, it's called Happiness, but there's a black comedy streak going through the whole thing as well, right. And it's very unsettling. So when I saw Happiness, then when I saw Dylan Baker in here, and and he's sitting there with the kid about the Halloween, I'm thinking, ooh, because sometimes you see an actor and they're so good in a role, and sometimes it's really hard to see them do something else, sort of thing. And then I thought, oh, okay, but then it's quite funny with Dylan Baker as an actor anyway, because I think he's brilliant because he plays this everyday kind of guy, but there is this dark sinisterness through everything that he does. So he should be he should be kind of like the Tom Hanks kind of character, just in a evil.
Yeah, I could see like kind of the all American lovable guy, but then like they there's a twist and he becomes a villain somehow. I'm trying to think. There was another movie I saw him in, also a horror movie with Robert De Niro actually in the lead, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, and I cannot for the life of me. But I remember it was one of those. It was one of those movies that had a terrible, that awful twist that they did in the mid 2000s, where the villain was you all along. You just didn't realize you were committing the crimes. And I remember just being like, "Oh, fuck off! Do we really need 1,200 of these?" I don't remember the name of it, but it was Robert De Niro and I want to say Dakota Fanning were the two leads. I don't remember the name. Hide and Seek. Was it Hide and Seek? It might have been Hide and Seek. But I remember he was in that. He was like the small town sheriff, and I remember watching it thinking, I wonder if it is the small town sheriff who that Dylan Baker's playing, who seemed to have a little bit of a darker edge to him. But no, spoiler if you haven't seen that movie, don't.
I know he's in Requiem for a Dream as well, wasn't he? Okay.
Oh, he was, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, another thing I like about this movie, that's another twist in here though, because at the time when he kills the boy, and then he's trying to bury the boy, and then of course the sun comes down and he wants to decorate the head. So you think that maybe he is an evil entity. There's something evil about him. And then you see him like dressed up and he's biting people, and you think, okay, well maybe he's a vampire. And then you can find out he's just a normal guy who's just fucked up.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's not what you expected, because you think he's going to be like, oh, another Halloween trope situation, but he's just a messed up individual. God knows where his son's going to be fostered off to, though. Daddy.
Well, I mean, is there an implication? Maybe I missed it. Is there an implication that he killed his wife?
Okay, sorry. I simply thought that because he might have killed, he's killing people, and even Mr.
There's other people out in his backyard, right? There was more than one person in his backyard.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, they got the boy you killed. At first, I thought the boy was the boy from Bad Santa. But
that's what I thought.
But
it's not.
They were at the same time, weren't they? So I don't know.
About the same time. It looks like it, but it's not.
Yeah.
But is the implication that he also killed his wife?
Well, the wife's missing.
Yeah, I thought that school was out in the backyard.
Yeah, I guess he would have. Yeah, maybe
I'm
he would
trying
have.
to figure out if Old Man Creed knew he was burying bodies. He was in his backyard, like he was looking.
Smells like a dead whore back here.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, obviously he's been killing other people because the head that they're cutting into that you think is going to be a pumpkin and ends up being a head. I mean, that's someone else's head. And I love Rhonda as well. She's cool.
Oh, the witch girl.
Yeah, she's great. Well, I mean, there's definitely going to be something about because Wilkins is the principal because they refer to him as Principal Wilkins, or the little boy does, Charlie. And then shit, I just got a really bad cramp. And then just got a Charlie horse. And then when they go to when they're trick or treating, they go to that one teacher's house and they're all drunk and offering the kids alcohol.
Yeah.
So there's a really messed up school system.
Well, it's messed up towards children generally. I mean, think of this whole movie. It's just totally targeting kids as villainous, horrible, evil culprits that they are.
I instead think that's kind of like setting up the rules of decency for how much Sam is kind of killing people. But he's killing bad people, as in kind of like the bad thing for him are.
Well, I was trying to figure out what the first lady did. What did she do wrong? She was just putting her stuff away.
That's the problem. You're supposed to keep your decorations
the whole
up.
night. Okay, that's right. The whole night.
Yeah, but then if it's like there are rules, like you got to respect the holiday, but at the same time, you have to do it right because Mr. Wilkinson, for example, at the end of the day, he gets killed, right?
No, should I say put out the jack-o'-lantern?
Because isn't he the vampire guy?
Yeah, it was the jack-o'-lantern that started with her.
And then because he's fucked up in his head, is killing people, he gets punished. And then the guy who was the bus driver who killed children, he gets killed. And I don't remember about the kids who get killed by the ghouls at the bottom of the pit.
Well, I guess they get killed for bullying.
They were bullying.
Yes,
bullying Rhonda.
Yes, exactly. So that's like if you hurt people, you get killed, but at the same time you got to respect the holiday because it's like respect the living ones and respect the dead, sort of thing. You know, so that's kind of the rules by Sam. If you respect us, he's fine. Otherwise, you get killed. So he's not a bad guy, really. I don't know.
There's in the grand scheme of things, the first woman really didn't do anything like that terrible. It's just she disrespected the holiday.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
True.
But
yes.
in the grand scheme of things, is that really?
No, you're right. To be honest,
she did say that she wasn't a fan of the holiday as well. I guess she was slagging it off slightly because remember he goes, "Oh, let's can wait tomorrow. You need to keep it up."
Yeah, she wanted to take everything down.
Yeah,
I was like one of those people that takes the Christmas tree down December 26th. Fuck it, we're done.
And then she's also somebody who apparently doesn't like sex because she's like, I really don't. Fine.
Well, he was in there watching porn, wasn't he? She goes, "Go watch your movie," and he's in there waiting for it to come when he's watching a porno or something.
She gets punished.
Yeah,
she doesn't have.
I'm like, so you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Let her get killed. She doesn't like. She doesn't like Halloween.
They show up at the parade, don't they?
What's that?
I said they're at the parade as well. The Halloween parade.
Yeah. Well, everything's
the
kind
whole
of interwoven. So yeah, she is at the parade. Which amazes me that
interesting is that they're actually all the people are like right next door to each other. So either across the road, they're all living either across the road or across from each other, aren't they? I noticed as well.
Yeah, how does everybody not know each other? That's one thing is how does everybody not realize that that's Krieg who killed all those children living right there?
Well, maybe the adults do because no one. I mean, there's this thing about his house, isn't there, that the kids are afraid to go to.
Yeah. And he is pretty shut in. He must be sicking his dogs on people.
And
or his dog.
We had that dog dressed up, didn't he?
Yeah.
So when he did answer the door, some kind of demon coming out of it. And out comes his little dog. But the kids were daring each other to go and knock on his door. So obviously there's some kind of history. Some kind of legend with the guy who lives in this house situation.
Well, didn't you have a mean old codger on your street? You used to go and run.
Yeah, it was a
Everybody
mean
had
old
one.
lady.
There was one. Don't tell me, Keith, you didn't do it to somebody. I know you did.
There was this mean old lady on our block that whenever we played sports in the street, she would come out with her hose and spray her hose at us.
We
I
had
remember
one
that.
of those. Oh my God.
Every time.
Everywhere. These sort of people are everywhere. Just mean old people who just like bored and they're nothing to do and just
They just hate
No,
fun
people
because
they never had to go at me, mean old people. They liked me. Don't know why.
well.
They'll be like, "Oh, Keith, can you go get our
Blame it
ball
on your
out? Can you go get our ball out next door neighbor?" Okay, fine, I don't care. Can I have the ball, please? I think it's because I was just ballsy. I think I was just like ballsy. I just like. I think
old man that used to take our wiffle balls, and my brothers used to always make me go in his garage, steal them back, them fuckers. And I think back on that.
The thing is,
we all had that neighbor too.
I think mean old people.
I
think they feed off your fear. They feed off your fear.
Oh yeah, maybe.
But they were so scary when you were a kid, though. They were just mean and old, you know? And that's all you knew. It's like you were scared of old man Montague. That's what it was for us.
Yeah. I think the only reason why I never had any problem with them because I didn't fear them. I kind of was I'm just an asshole.
You are.
I'm an asshole as an adult. So, I'm like, go get her ball. I'm okay, fine, I don't care. Can I have my ball, please? I've been like the little kid, like attitude. No. But I mean, I think Trick or Treat is one of. I'm surprised that then a sequel has never came out of it.
It's been in the works forever, but it's been in the works forever. It just never worked out.
The end of the day, I mean, statistically,
why nobody goes after that? It'd be such a great movie.
I mean, especially now that Warner has their streaming service, you can make it and dump it on Max. Michael Dougherty's gone on. He made the Godzilla King of the Monsters a couple years ago. What else is? So he's still out there working. So
well,
he's not starving.
No, I mean he's done Urban Legends and Superman Returns and
he's
Krampus. He did that.
That's right. That was the other big one. Krampus was
amazing.
Excellent Krampus movie that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I love Krampus. It just reflects everything I feel about Christmas most of the time.
Doing the new Godzilla versus King Kong, the new Empire. He's doing that.
Oh, is he doing that? All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, he did Godzilla King of the Monsters a couple years ago. So that was.
They got a new one coming out called Monarch something.
That's going to be a mini series on I think Apple TV. I think it's Apple TV. Is it Apple TV? It might be Apple TV.
I'm just waiting for Godzilla Zero, patiently waiting. Another few weeks.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's coming out. Yeah, I think mid-November.
Yeah. I get all excited about that shit. I love Godzilla movies.
So is Thanksgiving by Eli Roth. That's finally coming out. You talk about a movie that's been in production hell for 15 years now almost. No, more than that maybe.
Started off as a trailer for Grindhouse, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the next year they're like, hey, we're gonna make Thanksgiving and we're gonna make Machete. Machete got made and Thanksgiving never did.
Machete. Have you watched all of Machete?
Those are great. The third one, Machete in Space, never happened, and I don't think it ever will.
But they're so entertaining. I mean, they really are.
But yeah, as far as how I feel about Halloween Trick or Treat, like I messaged you guys the other day when I was watching this. I love revisiting this every year. It's become a tradition for me. I've loved this since the first time I saw it. The day the DVD came out, as soon as my girlfriend at the time, as soon as she and I got it, we watched it immediately. And it's a staple for me.
Halloween fun. It's just good fun, urban legend bullshit fun. I mean, it's just how do you dislike a movie like this? I'm sure somebody does.
I'm sure somebody does. There's always going to be some.
It's just so much fun to watch.
I have to say that the trailers of this film doesn't do this film justice, though.
Not at all.
The film is so much better than the trailer, which is great because that's normally.
I don't know how you could even have a trailer really emphasizing how good the movie is with all of its stories and stuff. You know, I mean,
the the trailer is, like Keith said, the trailer is great. And the minute I saw the trailer, I knew I wanted to see this movie, and it actually lives up to it. And I was worried that it wasn't going to.
It's a lot of fun.
So I guess maybe we should all rate it. Starting with you, Davide. What's your rating of Trick or Treat?
How many pumpkins?
Five pumpkins. I was actually going to say pumpkins. Yes, absolutely.
You said five pumpkins?
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing. And then, you know me, I love when there are life lessons, even though the life lessons in this story, it's kind of like, oh, respect the holidays.
Oh, there's definitely a life lesson and a cautionary tale here.
So for me, it's a beautiful tale. It's a horror tale, but it works. It's exquisite for me. It's literally like a good match for me. So yeah, great. I love it.
And how about you, Vicky?
Oh, definitely 5 slasher killer child pumpkins. Absolutely. A lot of fun. Like I just said, it's just good killing fun. It's Halloween. I mean, I even I don't know what the age would be for this, but I'd still let some kids watch it.
I mean, I feel
it's a little intense. I just think it's fun.
Yeah, I feel like like you can show this to a young kid because it's not anything that's too extreme.
There's no boobies in it either, I don't think.
Wait, no, there were.
Is there boobies in it?
Aren't there at the very beginning? Well, in the porno that they're watching.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, well, they maybe skip through the first part. Don't let them watch the porno part. Okay.
Cover their eyes for the 3 seconds of
whatever the hell that guy's watching.
Some porn star on the TV. Yeah, that's about it.
Watching the Knob Gobblers or whatever the name it was.
Nature Special. He wrote Nature Special on the VHS tape. Oh man. How about you, Keith?
Solid 5. I can't fault this film for.
No, I can't find anything wrong with it either.
It's one of those films that's perfect in every single way. I can't find one little.
It doesn't have a part 2. That's what's wrong with
it. Michael Dougherty's been working on that for years. Maybe someday he'll actually get the funding for it.
We're going on 8 years now. Wait, how many years? No, more than 8 years.
No, more than 8 years.
15, 16 years.
Yeah, this movie came out originally in 2007. 2009 was when it finally got its wide release. So yeah, it's been a long time. Legendary and Warner, get on it. You have a streaming service. You need content.
Yes, a lot of it because they're running out.
Get something good finally. Give Michael Dougherty some money and let him just do what he wants to do and don't micromanage him. Let him just like he did here. Just let him put everything together the way he wants and let him go.
I thought maybe there's a hold up because of the Bryan Singer problems. That's problematic.
Well, that probably too. Bryan Singer, but even before then, because the Bryan Singer problems were, really arose. I mean, it was always kind of, it was always in the background somewhere. But I think it only really arose in like 2017, 2018 is when, it finally broke. But yeah, maybe that's a part of it. But Michael Dougherty should not be paying for the sins of Bryan Singer.
No.
So
I know that maybe that Bryan Singer maybe still held rights or something because he did produce this, so that's the only reason why.
That is possible. In which case, pay him off.
Was there still all kinds of contention between the two, or?
Well, Bryan Singer was just used to act inappropriately with young men.
Oh,
yeah.
That seems like that shit happens all the time now.
Yeah, well, and considering that him and Kevin Spacey were.
Kevin Spacey.
I think the two of them kind of got wound in together. I think they're definitely different.
Yeah, it broke around the same time too.
They were close friends. They're also. I think it took everything. It brought both of them up to this, mountain on the hill situation that maybe they probably don't. Maybe they don't need to be as high as they are, but unfortunately did to kind of rose each other up.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's part of it too. In which case, I don't know, cut Bryan Singer a check.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have to actually work on the movie, but if he has some rights to it, cut him a check and let's get Trick or Treat 2, but leave Michael Dougherty alone to do what he wants to do. Do not micromanage him.
Yeah.
Please.
And as for me, I give it a solid 5 pumpkins as well. It's become a staple. This Halloween 3 are annual staples for me. And another one that I
love Halloween 3. I don't know why people give it such a bad rap. I don't. So.
Another one that I've liked a lot that is kind of around the same time and not as well known is a movie called Satan's Little Helper, which is a lot of fun. And I'm actually going to see if Sean wants to give that a shot because I'd like to open more people up to that one. That is another one that is very, very good.
I think I've heard of that.
I wrote about it last year. It's a fun little movie. I'll send you the trailer and everything.
Oh, okay.
I forgot where it's streaming. I think it was streaming on Prime last year. I don't know where it is now. But that's another fun one. But yeah, Trick or Treat is part of my Halloween go-tos every year.
Yeah. Well, it's perfect. It really epitomizes Halloween, the spirit of Halloween. It covers the whole gamut, you know?
Yeah. So. Yeah. And so I highly recommend it to anybody. It's most, it's an R-rated movie, but it's nothing like
it's pretty tame compared to stuff that we've done on this show, like Necromantic and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, when you compare it to Necromantic, of course it's tame.
Which I've still got. If I got the second one, I'm ready to watch tonight. I just figured, what the fuck? Might as well go for broke and watch all of them.
Or wait for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so is it a 5 across the board? Has that happened before?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so that's going to bring us to the second film, which is 2015's Tales of Halloween. Tales of Halloween is a 2015 American comedy horror anthology film consisting of 10 interlocking segments, each revolving around the titular holiday. Segments were directed by, and this is a great list of directors here, man, Neil Marshall, Darren Lynn Bousman, Axelle Carolyn, Lucky McKee, Andrew Kasch, Paul Solet, John Skipp, Adam Gierasch, Jace Anderson, Mike Mendez, Ryan Schifrin, Dave Parker, and Jack Dylan Grazer. The film premiered on July 24th, 2015 at the Fantasia International Film Festival before receiving a limited theatrical release and through video on demand on October 16th, 2015 by Epic Pictures. So we're going to cut to the trailer and be right back to discuss Tales of Halloween.
Every year on Halloween, this town goes batshit crazy.
Trick or treat.
Slightest idea what you're dealing with.
All right, and we're back. We're going to be discussing the 2015 Tales of Halloween, and starting with you, Vicky. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it starts off with a bang. You got Sweet Tooth. I mean, just what the fuck? The kid can't get enough candy, so, everybody who's eating candy, he's going to eat their candy that they've already consumed. Picture that, if you will. But it was, I loved it. It was just a little more darker, maybe a little more gruesome than the one we watched prior to that. It had 10 stories, so you had to pay attention more. But that I always like was Mikey puts the candy bar on the floor of his room before going to bed. Remember the little kid? He puts the candy bar on his bed because he's
a candy bar called Carpenter. Well, so we're gonna get a lot of references to to a lot of great horror filmmakers in this one, but it's a great start.
Yeah,
and the parents in this one, well, the parents of Sweet Tooth are Carolyn Williams of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Leprechaun 3, just legendary horror actress, and Robert Rustler, who's Grady in A Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Yes,
so we're going to start getting a lot of great.
They didn't spare any expense really when it comes to their firepower with that. They did have quite a lineup, and I mean, well, for 10 stories, I mean, I didn't lose any interest at all. I thought I thought they were great. All the stories they were macabre, they were strange.
Except one. That's the one story.
Which one didn't you like, Davide?
Oh gosh, the one of the two neighbors arguing the metal music head.
Okay.
It was just random. I just didn't understand why would you get angry and why would you piss the other guy off? Just get along, guys. You're gonna get all your like kids eating candies, both of you. So what's the big deal?
Oh, there's always one neighbor in the hood usually.
I have a feeling because all right. So 2014, I worked with Mike Mendez, who's one of the directors here. I was in his movie Lavalantula, and I love
that movie.
Very bit part where I'm part of a film crew when spiders invade. Spiders come out from the core of the earth. They're fire-breathing spiders, and they attack Los Angeles.
Oh my god!
I didn't know you had something to do with that.
So when you've never seen me in it?
If I did, I did. I didn't see you.
The second half of the movie, you'll see me a few times.
I'll put it back on.
Oh my gosh, really?
But he didn't direct this segment. This segment was directed by Andrew Kasch and John Skipp. But right after I moved from LA to Chicago, it was like a couple of days after, I think, I got an email asking me to come in for a street scene in the background for one of the stories on Tales of Halloween, and I got a feeling I was going to end up in this one. So I think that's where I would have ended up. But yeah, Davide, what did you not like about this particular one?
Well, it was a bit random. It felt like the arguments were silly. So you had this old man creating these old traditional things with gargoyles, which, by the way, were amazing. I had a gargoyle statue back in the days, like a little tiny one. And then he was building this thing saying, oh my God, this is my tradition. I've been doing it for years. You can't come here. You can't touch anything. This has to be perfectly as I like. I'm like, okay, fair enough. You maybe are a little bit OCD. I get it. But then there's no need to get angry. And then the other guys just be like, oh no, we're going to make like music and alcohol or whatever. I mean, everybody celebrates their holidays the way they like. It's not that they go in there and just bothering him. He doesn't like the music. It's Halloween. It's a holiday. It's like when you go like on Saturday evening, you're like, oh my God, people are on the pub and making so much noise. Well, yes,
try living in the Bible Belt during Halloween.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, he wanted to celebrate in a more calm and traditional way. Fair enough. You do it that way. I do it my way. Let's get along anyway. And he was just going there, calling that woman, oh, put away all that milk away, like looking at the boobs. It's like, okay, you starting it though. And it's just, for me, it felt like it was unnecessary. So that story ended up with like a beautiful, like, oh, let's all get killed. Fair enough. But I don't know, there wasn't really, it was an empty story. I just didn't really
a lot of substance for you in that.
Yeah, that's, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the other stories. Just this particular one was a bit like, okay, fair enough, I get it. But I generally like the ideals of the stories, but they had a little bit less meaningful life lessons compared to Trick or Treat. But it felt like more like a very goosebumpsy Goosebumps series. Yeah, I used to love Goosebumps. I used to collect the books and watch all the episodes.
I think they've got new Goosebump episodes out, actually.
I need to watch those then.
Yeah, I think there is a new series.
Yeah,
there might be.
Netflix? Is it Netflix?
No, Paramount Plus, I think.
Paramount Plus, okay.
It was on Disney.
What was your...
It used to be on Netflix.
there's a new Pet Cemetery on Paramount Plus that I have to see also.
Pet Cemetery.
Bloodlines, I watched it. I thought I was gonna hate it, but I really kind of dug it. So
I'm gonna have to check it out. So I guess what was your favorite one then, Davide?
Oh, about that crazy woman who wanted to have kids and she couldn't have it, and then she went mental and became this red monster. McKee's. That was fun. And then the guy, obviously, that really was the top explanation of a toxic relationship, where the guy was just being too nice and too unable to protect himself, and she was just like being angry all the time and then abusing him. And then he was being dressed up as a kid, like, oh, I'm your Hans, and then she's the witch, and then she was just being a little bit like, oh my god, I love it, I'm trying to get a kid, and then eventually ended up in the oven, and I feel like, okay, this is fun. This is like, I love the ending. It was hilarious, but I loved it. That was my favorite.
That was just a typical what happens when you date women, the way women.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is why I choose to be gay, then, I guess.
If you do want to see
controlling women, that's what that was about.
He's
Lucky he has a habit of putting over controlling women in all his kind of movies at some point.
Didn't you all like
or in the case of the movie I was just about to recommend, a very feral woman. Check out The Woman by Lucky McKee.
I love The Woman.
Oh,
The Woman is a fantastic.
Isn't
movie.
there 2 other stories too? Besides
yeah, because they're all written by Jack Ketchum, the writer.
Yes.
Well, he was a friend of our literary agency, wasn't he? Jack was, before he died. But there's 2 other movies as well that are available. Offspring, which is also available. Amazon, and I can't remember what the first movie is.
Oh, I know it is, and I can't remember the name.
And the woman is the third part of that story.
It's not feral, but what is it? Oh, it's gonna be crazy.
I didn't know until I saw The Woman that it was the second or third part of a trilogy. I had no idea because I'd only ever heard of The Woman. So yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah,
did you guys like the story of the grim grinning ghost about the legend of Mary Bailey, the bullied and disfigured woman? I liked that one.
I really wish that one would have gone longer.
Yeah, I did too.
Had more to it. And that one had a great cast.
Yeah.
Did you see that cast at that Halloween party? It's Lynn Shay, Stuart Gordon, Mick Garris, Barbara Crampton, Lisa Marie.
Yes. I know. That was great.
I go, wow.
Yeah, that was quite the cameo slot there for sure.
That is just an amazing cast for such a short bit of filmmaking there.
Yeah.
And Axelle Carolyn has since then, done a ton of stuff. She's fantastic too. She's a great director. I think this was the only one directed by a woman, actually, if I'm looking correct, if I'm
trying to
remembering
find out
correctly.
who directed what.
I made a list of who directed which ones from the very beginning. Because for a lot of these people, I'm a huge fan of a lot of their work. So
one of my favorites was The Night Billy Raised Hell.
Oh, the little kid with the devil.
That is, dude. That was before Sean fell asleep. He was really loving that one. That is fantastic, and Barry Bostwick is great in that one.
Yes.
Well, the one with the thieves who still kidnap the kids.
Horns.
No, he's basically he gets his older sister dares him to go ring on this doorbell.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he,
the one
that egg the guy.
So he ties the kid up, and then he gets his little demon spawn to go out and pose as the kid doing all these crimes.
It's the funniest one and also the darkest one because do the cops? Because it fades to black. Do the cops shoot the kid?
Yeah. I think they shot the kid.
He did, right? He did shoot
The whole thing is about wanting to have sex with the kid's mom.
Yeah,
like, that's it. Your mother's gonna have a lot of free time because they talk about your mother's slutty costume last year was great. That's the kid who's dating the sister. Your mom's slutty costume last year was great, man. She looked hot. And you get Barry Bostwick at the end going, "Well, your mother's gonna have a lot of free time after this, and I'm gonna be there and console her."
Oh my God, what a dick thing to do too!
It's so funny and so dark, and just the escalation of what he's doing is so fantastic.
Kill to see the outtakes to that movie. I mean, literally kill to see the outtakes. It's got to be.
I think that was that Adam Gierasch, I think. Oh no, Trick was Adam Gierasch. Oh, this is Darren Lynn Bousman, who directed most of the Saw sequels. So I guess he wanted to do some a little more of a sense of humor.
He definitely hit it.
I also like Friday the 31st because I thought that turned it on its head a bit.
Which one?
Friday the 31st.
Yeah, that was the Mike Mendez, a parody of like every slasher movie you've ever seen, and then like the little alien shows up.
I don't get any trophier. Yeah.
That one does turn it on its ear, and it's fantastic. I really love Sweet Tooth also. Vicky already talked about that one. Sweet Tooth is just a great way to open this.
Which one is the one that started off there watching Night of the Living Dead? Which one was that?
Oh, that was one as well.
Two of them do that.
Yeah.
The one where there's the four friends and one of them's getting really high and he goes and a trick or treater and the kids.
That one is.
Wasn't that the ransom of Rusty Rex and he won't give him back or?
I love that one as well. Where basically it's like they're trying to give the son back. He's like, no, you keep him.
It's like the ransom of Red Chief, but darker by O. Henry. I mean, it was just such good writing. I mean, it's spot on for Halloween. I mean,
and that
it's hard to go through an anthology though like this and just not disseminate all of it.
And that was a great performance piece too. And the father of Rusty Rex, quote unquote father, is the great John Landis, who is one of the greatest. I don't think he gets his due enough, but Animal House, Blues Brothers, Coming to America, American Werewolf in London.
Yes.
Yeah. He's just one of the greatest directors to ever live.
And he did the Twilight Zone, the movie segment. Which one was it?
He did the segment that unfortunately Vic Morrow.
Is that the one Vic Morrow died in?
Vic Morrow and the two kids died in his segment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awful when that comes. I always think of that visual when I see the footage and just like,
Wow.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate accident. But yeah, John Landis.
But I used to get him mixed up with Leonard Maltin.
They do look alike. Landis is
Leonard Maltin does not have John Landis. Unfortunately, he's a great movie maker, but he's not much of a humanitarian apparently.
I was sort of like Del Toro. They confused him with the writer of Game of Thrones. It cracks me.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
almost alike. I mean, it's just like, you can't tell the difference sometimes.
Yeah. And then speaking of great director cameos, the final story features the great Joe Dante, director of Gremlins, Piranha, Inner Space. There's probably 100 other movies I could think of that I just not coming to mind at the very moment. We just watched The Hole. He's the doctor at the end, Dr. Gottlieb, Joe Dante, who directed The Hole that we just watched last week.
Yeah, he's the best. And it's directed by one, the guy who did the werewolf movie that I cannot Dog
think of the
Soldiers.
name. Dog Soldiers. Yeah, Neil Marshall.
I love that movie. He directed that.
And he directed the Descent. He directed as well.
Yes, the Descent.
He did Dog Soldiers. I love that movie.
Yeah, the director of the last segment of this, Neil Marshall, did Dog Soldiers and The Descent. So he's someone who I will actually know. At this time, he was already kind of well known for being a great horror director, but yeah, he's one of the best out there right now too. Friday the 31st, also Mike Mendez, who, God, if you've never seen Big Ass Spider, check out Big Ass Spider. It's fantastic.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought that up. Gotta watch that again.
And most recently he made it's still out there running in theaters, select theaters like here and there. I don't know if we're going to get it in Chicago anytime soon, but he directed a movie recently called Satanic Hispanics. And
what a title.
A great title, and he's been getting the evangelicals protesting the screenings, which is the greatest kind of
publicity. If they're protesting, they're not going to go watch it.
It's the greatest kind of publicity you could ask.
Exactly.
It is. I don't think when people do that, I don't think it just prompts people to go see it. When somebody hates something that much, I'll just go see it.
without even giving it a shot.
But it's just people are just getting. I mean, I get bent out of shape about shit. But I mean, when it comes to horror movies and stuff, it's like back the fuck off. You don't have to watch them. Nobody's holding a gun to your head to go see it. You know, just if you don't like it, just don't watch it.
Well, I think it's important. I think it's good that people speak out about this sort of stuff because, to be honest, if it wasn't for that, these films would just fade away. But luckily, it gives them. Because to be honest, every time if you look at some of the crappiest, I'm not saying this film is crappy, but if you look at some of the worst films that have made the most money, are films that have had some kind of, bad hype about them.
Oh God, remember?
And you're like, oh, I can't wait to see this, can't wait to see it, and you go and see it, and you what? Like all the stuff that were on the ban list here in the UK.
I was just about to bring that up.
The nasties,
and you watch all these terrible movies.
Yeah, most of them were, and you're like,
well, it's just sort of like Barbara Hershey playing Mary Magdalene in The Last Temptation of Christ. That set people into fucking orbit.
Yeah. And that movie made so much money because of it. That's the thing about it, because the people's like, oh, I gotta go see this now. If everyone's getting angry, I gotta go see this movie. So
I watched it just because everybody was tripping balls.
I sent a clip of it to a friend of mine who's much younger than me, and he's like, wait, is that the Green Goblin playing Jesus? I'm like, actually, yeah. The Green Goblin playing Jesus.
Oh, it was William Dafoe. I totally forgot.
Yeah, William Dafoe is Jesus Christ in that movie.
Who would be showing his penis? Fucking Madonna like the year after that.
Oh, forget about no candle wax on the nipples. Yeah.
And
then driving a nail through his penis later on in a Fantasia.
That makes me want to cross my legs.
Body of Evidence. I watched that on the 4th of July, and I'd never seen it before, but I was like, all right, whatever. Sean had got the Blu-ray, and he was like, hey, let's watch this. And I had gotten like a tooth infection. Like my tooth was hurting. And at first I thought, okay, it's just a tooth infection, whatever. By the end of the movie, I was nodding off and everything. I was like feeling really bad. I was getting chills and everything. I go to bed. I wake up the next morning. And I got like this golf ball size, basically seemed like a tumor in my mouth. I couldn't speak or do anything. And I remember Sean was driving me to get emergency surgery to get this giant growth in my mouth.
Sounds like.
Yeah, it was an abscess. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But we were going to get it drained, and he's like slapping me to keep me awake because he's like, I don't want you to fall asleep and you choke to death. And I with all the energy I could muster, I looked at him and I told him, there's no way I'm going to my grave with Body of Evidence being the final movie I watched.
Do you think the abscess was actually caused by Madonna's acting?
It could have been.
It might have been.
I mean, I can't imagine Body of Evidence and Blu-ray because, to be honest,
Lord.
No, the thing is, William Dafoe's penis is supposed to be in the shadow of, when they're making love. So basically, obviously,
probably can see everything.
When they're simulating making love, basically, he's put his penis between their bodies, and that's the reason why. And the thing is, in the movie, so that's supposed to be in shadow. So God forbid, we know what's happened in shadow features on Blu-ray once they clean it up. So basically, they should do it in 3D, so that way his penis comes out at you. It's like, whoa.
Recently watched Warlock the Armageddon on Blu-ray, and Julian Sands, when he comes out and he's walking around that woman's apartment naked, he's out there in all his glory.
What happened in Sleepaway
Blu-ray's
Camp?
great,
where you're not supposed to see who it is in Sleepaway Camp, and so when he shows up in shadow, he can see exactly who it is.
Yeah, I was on Mark Krawczyk's podcast a year ago. We were discussing Sleepaway Camp, and I went off the Blu-ray, and I was like, well, you could see right there who it is.
Yeah,
I forgot about Blu-ray.
Friday 13th on Blu-ray, you can see where the prosthetics are now because of it's so clear.
Oh yeah, you can see everything. Salem's Lot was the first time I ever noticed how fucking Blu-ray you could see the crane behind the little boy scratching.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The first release of Jaws on Blu-ray, not only could you see the shark, but that movie,
see everybody snatched in the water too.
I was gonna say that's not a PG movie on Blu-ray. That is
the whole world. Gynecologist on that time when that was released.
It was Snatch City on Jaws then.
I've seen more of Olivia in that film than I had in my whole life.
Everybody said she had a thong on. I go, she don't got no thong on.
No, I could see what she was having for breakfast.
Thanks, Blu-ray. But yeah, oh my God, let's go back to Tales of Halloween because we're off course as usual.
This is all y'all's fault.
Oh, I mean, just the way it's just the way we are.
I do have one small thing about this film that I wish they could have done better. Is how to connect them. Because I think I know that they're going for the Adrienne Barbeau, the fog thing,
right?
But for some reason, it really doesn't pay off.
I think my theory on why that is that you broke up there, Keith. I didn't hear what you said.
Was it because they just threw in some bad lines for her to say?
Were they trying to tie it all up though?
It felt like they were. I think the difference here is Trick or Treat was written and directed by one person.
True.
This one you have everyone, everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone has their own director, and everyone has their own. Every story has their own director. Every story has their own writer.
Right.
And I think that's what made it kind of difficult to kind of weave everything together.
It was a little more creep showish than the anthology.
Well, Creep Show still has a way of connecting everything. And you have the comics in between.
True.
And you have
Creep Show
also sometimes doing like her radio broadcast that she's doing.
Right.
And sometimes not.
Sometimes not. And I just think that, and I also think because I do think there's too many stories in a way, because by the end of it, you start getting, I can't say one of them's bad, but you start getting a little bit fatigued by the time you get to like story number 6. You're kind of going, is it still going? Yeah. And the thing is, and I can't, but the thing is, I can't individually. I cannot see. It's a bit like if I go to it's been like when I've gone to film festivals and there's been a lot of short films that they're showing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then about after an hour, I kind of get short film fatigue a little bit. Where it's just like, and they're all brilliant. I can't fault any of them, but after a while, you're kind of going.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So the only thing I would, this is so
maybe they should have kept it shorter and paid attention to more of a couple stories as opposed to 10,
or find a way to bring them together. I mean, make it feel like they're all in the same town, maybe, or have, or even like repeat Adrienne Barbeau's saying. So basically, that's like, oh, so these things are going on at the same time, or something.
I did get the sense that it's all in the same town because you have the same kids showing up, and I don't know, but that might have also been because this movie had a limited budget.
Right.
So, one of the little girls, the little girl that stabs Trent Haga in Trick, that's Tiffany Shepard's daughter.
Oh,
so
really?
I wonder if a lot of this was born out of necessity, that we don't have a lot of money for this. So let's just keep reusing the same kids. Or if it was. It does seem like it was intentional, though, because they're wearing the same costumes. They didn't try to make them look different. So I got that sense.
I think when you get those stories where that's happening, I think it works.
I thought they were the same kids, though.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
They're supposed to be the same kids, right?
Yeah.
I believe what I would have done, though, for instance, is like when you had this is probably because of budget, but for me, I would probably have some more characters when they're having a fighting over the decorations. Just pop up.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Just because if you look at the Trick or Treat, even the robot girl and the guy waiting to have sex,
passing by in the background.
You see them passing by at some point, so it keeps them all connected.
They bump into the girl that Wilkins kills at the parade. So yeah, maybe that could have helped with that.
That's the only thing I can say. I just kind of wish there was something, because even like when we get into the Amicus, anthologies and other anthologies, they do have a wraparound story. There is a connection, or there is something that brings everything together. You know what I mean?
Especially when we get to Asylum.
And this one does kind of like, even though what might connect might be sometimes a bit too weak or not,
Right.
but it still connects them, whether they're, five strangers trapped in a room together or whatever.
Well, I will have to say that the movie before it was a little tighter.
But like I said, that's one person authoring the whole thing.
So I'm not really looking at this other movie so much as an anthology as it is just a set of stories that really don't have much to do with each other. Kind of, they do, but
I think if they could have found a way to, because they could have got another director in to direct the connection.
Yeah, they didn't have maybe if they had a full wraparound story, maybe that would have helped it too.
Yeah.
And how so? How would they wrap that around now?
Well, the same way they wrap around all of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could have been something as stupid as basically as cautionary kids sitting around a campfire and they're being told a story.
Yeah.
At the end of it, you come to find out the guy who's telling the story is actually the Grim Reaper, and they're just all dead kids,
right,
or something.
Oh, yeah. Are we going to get tired of that by the end of the season? The twist that you're all actually dead already.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm just saying that's something off the top of my head. But I'm saying, but it still kind of wraps it. Or even if you had some kind of animation, kind of,
I didn't realize
VHS does it, doesn't it? Even the VHS movies they kind of do. The wraparounds are normally really shit, but they do.
Right.
kind of connects these tapes together in a weird way. So,
and this showed something that I didn't know about Mike Mendez at the time when this came out, but he apparently likes doing the little stop motion animation. He's apparently a fan of that. Is during the pandemic, even Guillermo del Toro actually shared a couple of his videos. He took a lot of his horror action figures at home during the first shutdown. And it's going longer than expected. So what he did is he started taking his horror action figures and making little
during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, he made a couple of shorts using his toys. He's like, look, I just want to make movies, and I can't make movies right now because everything's on lockdown.
Oh wow, are they available?
That's cute.
I think he posted them on YouTube. Guillermo del Toro shared a couple of them because del Toro loved them.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't know that about him, but this was the beginning of that because that little space alien.
How neat! I'll have to go dig those out. That sounds like fun to look at. I love stop motion stuff. I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by the patience that the person has to do that. And you have to admire somebody that can do that, because not everybody can do that.
Well,
I mean, filmmaking.
If you look at Nightmare Before Christmas, it took what, 3.5 years of filming?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about filmmaking is that the best filmmakers out there are the ones who take the time to make sure that they have everything right, because it's ultimately what you need
dedication
as a filmmaker is time. That's the most important thing, and a lot of times, unfortunately, you don't have that.
Because of the deadlines and budget and bullshit.
And I might not have this actor tomorrow, so I got to Roger Corman. Roger Corman built entire movies around, hey, I have Boris Karloff for 3 days.
I know.
Jack, go write a script.
Pull that shit off too. What movie did he do that? What movie was that? Maybe it was the Little Shop.
The Terror. The Terror. He did that, and then he did it again with Targets.
Okay. What other movie, hon? What was it?
Targets.
Okay.
For Targets, they only had Karloff for a couple days, and there was unused footage from The Terror. So he told Peter Bogdanovich, "Here, do this," and he.
He did not. Did he really?
Yeah, he had Karloff for like 3 days, and he had unused footage from The Terror. He's like, you got to incorporate this footage from The Terror, and you got Karloff for like 2 or 3 days, and go get on it.
Oh, but Roger Corman, who would do anything?
Now we have a second feature for our drive-in when it goes out. So
I mean, yeah, when you really think about it, what the purpose and that B movie, the term B movie, and Corman discusses this on his interview with Joe Bob Briggs. The term B movie has kind of been misused because we don't really like Corman points out, like stuff that are B movie plots are getting made into A movie now. A movies now, but the purpose of a B movie was always supposed to be the B side of a single would be, another song. The B movie would be the second feature playing at a drive-in or a cheap theater.
I always thought they were the first feature because
they're the first feature. They're like the backup band.
No, they're the second because they expect people to come in and you're paying for the A feature. That's the movie you're there to see, and most of the time you're drunk or you're too busy making out with somebody in your car to give a fuck what's going on screen. By the time the second movie starts, and that's the purpose of the B movie. The B picture is you don't have to pay that much attention to it because it's schlock.
For some reason, I always thought that was the first film show because that's the one that they're showing as the sun's going down, so people are like starting getting into the drive-in. So that way, by the time the Ace feature, everyone's in place.
I guess that would be the short film, and the trailers and all that.
One movie, I'm trying to remember what came out with Poltergeist. We went to the drive-ins to see Poltergeist, and I'm trying to remember what the movie was that came out with Poltergeist. Gosh darn, I'm trying. That's gonna bug me now. What got released?
I know that when I went, we saw Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Bedknobs and Broomsticks was the main feature.
I remember that.
I've never been to a drive-in.
No, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was the second feature when I was a kid.
We used to have.
Because I always fall asleep at Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. The child catcher shows up, I fall asleep. I don't see anything, and I remember waking up and all of a sudden there's like this octopus swallowing the submarine.
We had more than one drive-in where we grew up, though. But we had a porn drive-in called the Starlet Drive-In. Remember the Starlet? And
as you're driving down Route 81, you could like see flashes of it on the road.
I mean, everybody went to go watch. I mean, you didn't need to hear what was going on, okay?
Didn't matter.
You got it from Route 81. You go be driving down Route 81, didn't you? And you can see it on the side.
You can see all the huffing and puffing from the highway. It's just like, what the fuck?
My mom goes, avert your eyes. Avert your eyes. I'm like, what?
It was right there on the highway. Yeah. I mean, big screen. Lots of fucking going on.
Sadly, I grew up in New York City in the 80s and 90s. There were no drive-ins by me, so I never got to go to a drive-in.
Are you serious? We had the Black River, we had Thousand Islands. There was that Starlit drive-in. We had like 3 or 4 of them. It was great. Nice. We went all the time.
Yeah, and what you do is
I miss it so bad. I love the drive-in.
You pay for 2 people and you have all your friends laid out in the trunk.
Yeah. Well, they knew we were doing that, They all knew there was people in the trunk.
Thank God there was no outside poisoning. No one died.
They make their money off concessions more anyway.
Well, the thing is, we never got to concessions anyway because in the back of the trunk with our friends who are hiding were bottles of booze, popcorn, and everything.
I know, we had coolers of fucking beer and all kinds of shit. Oh my God, those were the days, man. I miss that shit so bad.
And what's the biggest thing you had to take to the drive-in? Off.
Yeah. Black fly season in northern New York. Oh my God. They're like heat-seeking moisture missiles. They're awful.
Then you had to worry. Then the problem basically is that and then about like, was it about 80, 81, 82 at the drive-in. Then the problem basically becomes that you no longer had the speaker. It started coming through your
radio,
and then you had to worry about your battery being drained.
Yeah, that pissed me off when they did the radio thing. That drove me nuts.
Now it's not bad because radio was fantastic in people's cars. Back then it was like an AM radio.
Yeah, that's all we had was AM radio. Well, if you had a car that was made in the 70s and you got FM radio came like in 82, 83 to cars. It's just like, all right, I'm styling. I got FM and a cassette in my car. It's like, woo! I'm styling now.
It just reminded me because one of the great things about seeing American Psycho the musical last night was Patrick Bateman talking about how he has the latest in technology, including a Sony Walkman.
Oh, I know! Oh my God, that is so funny. I bet I love that. That was
Sony Walkman that reverse plays.
He was just like the best killer. I mean, out of all of the killers, my favorite killers is from that movie because just watching him running around with his sneakers on, covered in blood with that fucking chainsaw. It's like fucking epic.
I mean, the Sony Walkman auto-reversible tells you how lazy we would become, because here we have a personal cassette player that we're plugged into that's on us because we're connected to it. The wire's not that very long. And we're too lazy to actually get the tape out and flip it over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big deal now that I think about that.
Yeah, I had the sports one.
But we're getting that way again now, because there'll be like stuff that like I have on DVD and Blu-ray, and Sean will be like, "Oh, it's already streaming on this place." I'm like, am I really, like, what's the point of having them then if I'm not going to go get them off my shelf?
Wasn't it you that was telling me somebody was looking for media and you can't find? Oh, well, we were talking about Kuntalatic, the Kunt movie from last week. It's gone. It's like forever gone, unless you can see it on YouTube. But I have found a thing. I cannot remember what it's called. You can actually record stuff streaming now.
There's plenty of people who do that.
I didn't know you could do that. I was trying to find
people that do that.
Me neither. How do you do that?
I don't know. It's an app you can get now to record.
Oh, I see.
It's sort of like,
I don't know if we should discuss how to pirate movies on this podcast.
I know. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, oops. Let's cut it off.
I've never pirated a movie, but I'm talking about trying to save some, that you just will never see.
I mean, this is one of those things where I think, piracy is going to save some movies from oblivion.
Vicky's never pirated a movie sober before.
I've never, not sober, no. Not sober.
But this is.
I only smoke the devil's lettuce now.
I'm actually glad we did this. It gave me an excuse to actually buy the Blu-ray of Tales of Halloween. So I was glad that I got to do that.
Blu-ray does kind of annoy me though a little bit. I don't know if I want to see every little thing, I
mean, with older movies, I tend to lean towards
the older
DVD.
movies are the worst. It's the worst
because those movies are meant to,
I can see everybody's hair on their face.
These movies now are shot in high definition, so it doesn't matter because everything's shot exactly. With newer movies, Blu-ray's fine. Right. With older movies, I prefer DVD.
Black and white films, Blu-ray is brilliant on.
No, that I like. I like that a lot.
If the studio takes the time to go through it and make sure that they're fixing everything, because otherwise it's just too bright and you can see everything, and that ruins the movie. But
I was watching a Blu-ray of what was I watching a Blu-ray of? I was watching a Blu-ray of Dracula with Bela Lugosi. And then you could actually see the peach fuzz on everybody's face, It's like, it's so weird, because you never saw that kind of intricacy.
But they lovingly redid all those Universal monsters.
They did. I'm so
not
glad
the sequels.
What?
The sequels on Blu-ray are sometimes a rough watch. You can really see the strings on the backs.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see the strings on the back.
All I have is the Blu-ray of the Creature from the Black Lagoon movies. So
that one's fantastic.
They have all the what is it, Peacock or Paramount? Somebody has all the Universal monsters on this month. Peacock or Paramount?
Peacock.
Somebody's got them. Because I've just been like, oh my God, they're all here. That's why I was trying to figure out how to pirate them. And now that I know where I can do it, I can do it. I just got to wait.
No one from Universal's listening to this.
They've got bigger fish to fry.
Those movies are all going to be public domain in the next couple of years anyway.
Yeah.
And our listeners out there, if there is a reward for putting people in, you can contact me at.
Yeah.
I need help with my moving expenses.
Works both ways. I'm sure Keith has pissed off somebody in the UK. Just hit me up.
So I guess with this one, since these stories are more separate, we can say which ones we liked the best.
Which ones we liked the best? Yeah, it's because there were so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's 10 stories in this one. So
I like Sweet Tooth.
I guess rate the movie overall and then tell us which one you like best. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start with you again, Vicky.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going to give it a 4.5 just because with the reasons we discussed. I still thought they were great stories. I thought some of them were gross, which is so important to me. I have to have a little bit of a gore fest because I'm just a gore hound. I will literally challenge people to send me shit, so I will watch it. Necromantic kind of got me with the eyeball. I have to admit, that fucked me up a little bit. But this one, I love the Sweet Tooth story just because, when you run out of candy, what else is left but the other people who ate the candy? If you know where I'm going with that. And I just loved that story. I thought it was great.
It's so disgusting. It
was
perfect.
Great though.
And
disgustingly good.
Greg Grunberg, the comedian, shows up at the end as the father, which I really loved. We didn't talk about him. He's fantastic too.
A drunk father.
Yeah, he's a drunken father. And he's another one. He really shines in Big Ass Spider.
I gotta watch that again. I wish he would bring this up because I can't do this all weekend. I've got to continue. But Big Ass Spider.
Watch with the kid around because that one's pretty.
I think you could watch Big Ass Spider. Yeah. We have to go see the Five Freddy's though.
I do want to see that too.
There's something else coming out too this weekend. I can't remember. Five Freddy's and something else.
I also want to give a shout out to Dave Parker who directed Sweet Tooth because he's made The Hills Run Red. I think you talked about that recently, Vicky, that you had seen it. The Killer in the Baby Mask. He directed that.
Yes. Yeah.
Super underrated, underseen horror slasher. Came out the week before Trick or Treat, so it kind of got overshadowed.
Yeah, I can see where that would happen.
If you can see that one, check that one out. He also directed.
Sweet Tooth was by far my favorite, though. I loved all the stories, but that was my favorite because it was so fucking. You knew what he was gonna have. I loved it. Excellent.
It's a great way to kick the whole thing off. It's a perfect, and it's grimy, it's dirty.
It's got kids,
and you get the great.
Unlike that movie. Oh, before I forget, that movie I was watching 10. Oh, it was 10. It was about the serial killer. Oh my God, 10. Billington. No, wait.
10 Rillington Place.
Really? I finished watching that, and you're right. I needed a bar of soap.
Yeah.
It gave me the heaves real bad. It was well done, though, too.
I first saw that 15 or so years ago, and I guess back then I didn't really think much of it, but when I rewatched it a couple days ago, I was like, holy shit. That's Richard Attenborough. That's the tiny old man from Jurassic Park.
I know. That's what was so hard to watch about it. He was a perverted necrophiliac. It's just
Jesus Christ.
We
like our necrophiliacs.
A great performance piece though, because Judy Geeson and John Hurt are fantastic in it too.
Oh, he was excellent in it too. I looked up that story, by the way. I was fascinated with it. I had no idea about the serial killer, so I just love to look up the serial killers. So. But I did like the movie, though.
I think they recently remade it as a miniseries, didn't they?
I don't know. It's the first time I've heard of John Christie. I've never heard of it before.
But yeah, 10 Rillington Place is excellent.
Excellent movie. It really is good.
Okay. So 4.5 and
4.5, love Sweet Tooth.
And love Sweet Tooth the best. How about you, Davide?
I'm gonna give it a 5 Sons of Satan. I really liked it.
Ooh, you really liked it. All right.
Yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Trick or Treat more, but I cannot take anything away from this. The only thing that this one has less than the other one is just that there is no real life lesson, sort of ethical, whatever, behind
really
it.
A life lesson in this one, was there? Really?
Yeah, no,
you don't need a lot of candy and listening to your bullshit girlfriend.
This one was more just a labor of love by a bunch of people who just love the genre.
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
what this one was.
But because it was well written, and one thing I loved is the fact that he brought me both movies actually, because it's like a collection of stories, brought me back into my youth when I used to watch Goosebumps. Yeah. And then when I used to watch, I don't know if you remember, there is a 90s old cartoon. If you watched it, you will have an enlightenment right now. And it was about this old, creepy green guy telling horror stories called Tales from the Crypt Keeper. Yes.
It was a spin-off of Tales from the Crypt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about the cartoon.
It was a cartoon show. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Right.
Yes.
The Crypt Keeper.
Yes. So that's what it was, and I loved it. I didn't watch it all, obviously, but then
Did you ever watch the live action series?
there's a live action series.
Yes.
Wow.
Tales from the Crypt. Oh my God, we gotta come up.
Yes, you got to see it, dude. What they would do is they would get great directors and great stars who really love the old 50s EC comics, and they would all come in and do different episodes. You had Joe Pesci, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Whoopi Goldberg, like everybody showed
Goldberg.
up.
I'm in love with Whoopi Goldberg, so I gotta watch it 100%.
But yeah, everybody would do, like they'd all show up for like an episode or two. Brad Pitt got early. Brad Pitt. Yeah, everybody under the sun was in these.
Everybody got an appearance, or so anybody was up and coming was on that. Or if they people who were already made, they went on it anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a spin-off of a live action series.
I can't believe it. I'm probably gonna look for it.
Yeah, you'll love it.
For
Check
Halloween.
it out if you can find it.
I could probably watch it for Halloween. Why not? I mean, why not?
There's a lot of us.
It ran like 6 or 7 seasons, so it's a lot.
It's fine. Come on.
But yeah, you go ahead and start it out. Yeah. You like every show, it has some really great episodes, some really,
They say it's nail-biting, creepy, and campy.
Yeah.
That's
What was your favorite one then?
Okay, so my favorite one was of the woman, like I said earlier, the red woman who could never child, whatever.
Yes.
Oh yeah, her. Yeah.
But I also like the one, and that's because I've kind of reminded me of like a sort of like a cheesy Goosebumps. The final one with the men eaters pumpkins. That was actually quite fun. I loved it. But yeah.
And I guess Keith, what about you?
I actually have 2 favorites. I love The Night Billy Raised Hell. Bloody brilliant. Plus, it's good to see Adam Pascal as well. He played the dentist who gets kicked in the balls. Because Adam Pascal is from the original production of Rent and Aida, and he's like a Broadway legend god. And got him and Barry Bostwick, and they played father and son in another musical before, which is quite interesting. So I got to see that. And the second one is The Ransom of Rusty Rex.
Yes. I love that one.
Which one was
it? I love that as well, because it's kind of like, the
one where
the competence is always a big thing for me anyway. So
the second one he mentioned was the one where the little boy gets kidnapped and the kidnappers find out that he's actually like a little demon.
Oh yeah, the one.
Yeah, that was fantastic too. I love seeing John Landis pop up and stuff. So that
Tales
really
from the Crypt's on Tubi, by the way, Davide. On Tubi.
Oh, is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's some of them are, and there's some on HBO. They had a problem with HBO apparently, but I didn't read on further.
So, but they're my favorite. I would give it a solid. Give it a solid 5-star. The only small thing, as I said before, I kind of wish there was something to join them together. That's all. But it doesn't take away my enjoyment of the movie at all.
It's still amazing to watch.
It was enjoyable.
Still amazing to watch. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
What about you, Joe? What's your favorite one?
My favorite one is The Night Billy Raised Hell, because I just got so much enjoyment out of that one. It's so funny. It's so dark. Absolutely brilliant. I laughed my ass off the entire time at the escalation of everything. And
it escalated rather quickly.
Yeah, from being afraid to throw an egg to, obviously, the twist at the end being that it's not really him, but then he's setting people on fire, blowing things up. It's absolutely great. I love it. So I guess that's the end of this week's episode. I guess I'll throw it to Keith. He'll go through what's coming up on the channel over the next month or so.
Yep, and basically what will be happening, our next anthology will be covering 2 great films, which will be The Uncanny from 1977, which is Cats. So we're covering 2 cat ones, and The Cat's Eye from 1985, based on Stephen King stories.
Oh, these are going to be fun. Okay.
And of course, next week will be our November, which will be We Shall Survive month. And our book to screen will be Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nymph and the fantastic film from 1982, Don Bluth, The Secret of Nymph. And Doctor Who will continue on with the Space Museum and The Chase, which will be out this week. Batman, the animated series, will be watching Batgirl as she makes her appearance in Shadow of the Bat Part 1 and Part 2, Blind the Bat, and his Silicone Soul. And our Two for Families will be dealing with The House with the Clock in its Walls, directed by Eli Roth, starring Cate Blanchett and Jack Black from 2018. And 2017's animated drama film called The Breadwinner. I'm dealing with a little Muslim girl who has to pose as a boy in order to hide herself from war-torn Iran. And of course, next month our Doctor Who will be The Time Meddler in Galaxy 4, which aired from the 3rd of July until the 2nd of October 1965. So that's it for myself.
All right. Well, everyone have a great week. Good night, Keith.
Good night.
Good night, Vicky.
Good night, everybody.
And good night, Davide.
Good night, everyone. And remember, Sam is watching.
Yes. Oh, this is our last one before Halloween, I think. So everyone have a happy and safe Halloween.
Yep.
Have fun. And we'll see all of you next time.
Zombies in the dead of the night. Everywhere, flickering lights, spooky, scary skeletons, and it's only July. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. It's coming to find you. Every day is Halloween. No, there's nowhere to go. There's something behind you. Every day is Halloween. Every day is Halloween. When the wind sends shivers down your spine, werewolves howl, you can bet they bite. Heart beats quick like a drum, or something wicked this way come. It's true, you saw a ghost in the heart.